9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Are you ready?
Have you ever wondered how sounds make their way from the source all the way to your brain? Take a trumpet, for instance. When it's played, it makes sound waves in the air. The outer ear catches the waves, which then travel through a narrow passageway called the ear canal. The sound waves reach the eardrum, which is a membrane roughly half the size of a dime. They make the eardrum vibrate, which in turn vibrates 3 tiny bones called the malleus, incus, and stapes. These bones amplify or increase the sound vibrations and send them to the cochlea. The cochlea is shaped like a snail and is the size of a garden pea. It is filled with fluid, and the sound vibrations make this fluid ripple, which creates waves. Hair-like structures called stereocilia sit on top of hair cells and are grouped together as hair cell bundles inside the cochlea. The hair cells inside the cochlea ride these waves, and the hair bundles are moved. The hair bundle on top of the hair cell turns these movements into electrical signals. As the hair bundles are moved, ions rush into the top of the hair cells, causing the release of chemicals at the bottom of the hair cells. The chemicals bind to the auditory nerve cells and create an electrical signal, which travels along the auditory nerve to the brain. Different hair cells respond to different frequencies of sound. The hair cells at the base of the cochlea detect higher-pitched sounds, such as a piccolo or flute. The hair cells toward the top of the spiral detect progressively lower-pitched sounds, such as a trumpet or trombone. At the very top or apex of the spiral, the hair cells detect the lowest-pitched sounds, such as a tuba. The auditory nerve carries the electrical signal to the brain, which interprets the messages as sounds that we recognize and understand.
Hello there. I said, hello there. Thanks. Can you hear me now? Good. So, have you heard that exposure to loud noises on the job can lead to hearing loss or worse? It can. In fact, an estimated 22 million U.S. workers are exposed to noise that is loud enough to be hazardous every year. Regardless of your workplace or tools, you should be aware that repeated exposure to loud noises can permanently damage your hearing. So, how do you know if you're being exposed to hazardous noise on the job? Well, do you hear ringing or humming in your ears after leaving work? Do you have to shout to a coworker an arm's length away to be heard? And do you experience temporary hearing loss after leaving the workplace? That's what I was afraid of. The amount of damage noise can do to your hearing depends on 3 things: decibel level, distance, and time. Let's take a closer look at each. Sound is measured in decibels. Safe or moderate sound levels are only around 50 to 60 decibels, which is the volume of most conversations. With extended exposure to levels that rise between 85 and 90 decibels, you're going to need some sort of hearing protection. This very loud volume can be produced by blow dryers, blenders, or vacuum cleaners, and you should put on that hearing protection now! Extremely loud sounds in the 90 to 110 decibel range are made by lawnmowers, hand drills, chainsaws, and even digital music players. The most damaging noises are classified as painful and include jet engines, jackhammers, and firearms, all of which can be deafening at 120 to 150 decibels. Distance is another key factor in protecting your hearing. Decibels decrease with distance from the source of any noise, so moving away will lower your chances of injury. The third key to protecting your hearing is time, because the damaging effects of noise can add up over your lifetime. So your risk for permanent damage increases with regular exposure to loud sounds. With sounds that are 100 decibels, limit your exposure to no more than 2 hours a day. At 115 decibels, you're limited to 15 minutes of exposure a day. Ask a supervisor about your company's hearing loss prevention program. At the very least, if you work around loud noises, you should always use appropriate hearing protection. Well, maybe not always. So, a quick recap. Lots of people suffer hearing loss on the job, but paying attention to volume levels, distance, and exposure time can make a big difference. So listen up and protect your ears.
You can spot an employee wearing earplugs incorrectly because they're not inserted far enough. First, make sure your hands are clean and take one of the plugs and roll it into a narrow cylinder. Reach over with your other hand and pull your ear up and out to open up the ear canal. Insert the earplug by turning it a little as it's inserted inside the canal. There should be just enough of the plug protruding that you can grab it with 2 fingers. Keep a finger on the earplug for 30 seconds as the foam expands. If the earplug feels like it's not properly inserted, remove it and try again. Once you've inserted the earplug properly, it's going to expand to fill the canal. You can hear and feel this, and that'll be a sign it's inserted correctly. First, make sure your hands are clean and pick up one of the plugs. Reach over with your other hand and pull your ear up and out to open up the ear canal. Insert the earplug using a rocking motion until all the flanges are inside the ear canal. There should be enough of the plug protruding that you can grab it with 2 fingers. If the earplug feels like it's not properly inserted, remove it and try again. You can check if the plug is inserted properly by cupping your hands over your ears while listening to a noise. If fitted correctly, the noise levels will be about the same whether or not the ears are covered.